25 million. This is how many unsafe abortions that occur each year. Of those, approximately 8.9% result in maternal death. This displays how willing women are to have an abortion. They are willing to sacrifice their own lives in order to receive one under unsafe conditions. By abortion being banned, there would be more women in the world seeking abortions that are primarily not safe, which increases the percent of maternal deaths. I've always been curious about the debate of abortion. Also, I've been interested in this topic because of the fact that I am a woman, and if a ban were to occur, it could have an effect on me. Furthermore, I've researched this topic thoroughly and have read many scholarly articles about women's right to abortion. The main problem here is that there isn't anything that protects women's right to abortion. Therefore, the Wisconsin State Legislature should pass a bill that protects these rights in order to ensure the safety of women. If an abortion ban were to occur, it would be detrimental for women and their right to make decisions about their body. To begin, unwanted pregnancies have an impact on women's overall mental health. According to Antonia Biggs, who has a PhD in social psychology, women are more prone to mental illness such as depression and anxiety when they don't have access to an abortion. Therefore, when a woman is forced to carry the baby to term, they typically show more signs of depression, such as low self-esteem, extreme sadness, and isolation. As a result, women's mental health is negatively impacted when they aren't allowed to have an abortion. Furthermore, when abortion is denied to women who have an unwanted pregnancy due to traumatic circumstances, it causes more psychological stress on the woman. According to an article by Deborah Nelson and Stephen Lepore, who are both professors of public health, unwanted pregnancies already show a negative effect on women's mental health, especially when that unwanted pregnancy was caused by sexual abuse, such as rape, incest, or molestation. In other words, if women aren't allowed to have an abortion, when she has these kinds of traumatic events happen to her, she's more likely to develop symptoms of depression and anxiety, which negatively affects her mental health. For example, in Nelson and Lepore's study, they interviewed women for 40 minutes, asking them questions that regard sexual abuse and mental health. They found that there is a correlation between sexual abuse and women who feel depressed or extreme sadness or anxiety. They said that women who reported that they were sexually abused and denied the right to abortion were almost twice as likely to become depressed. Therefore, their conclusion was that women who become pregnant as a result of sexual abuse were more willing to abort the child, which also caused the woman to have a greater chance of depression. Therefore, this study is a great example of how sexual abuse, abortion, and mental health are all connected. In addition, an abortion ban will cause more unsafe abortions to happen. According to the World Health Organization, an unsafe abortion is a procedure for terminating an unwanted pregnancy either by persons lacking the necessary skills or in an environment lacking the minimal medical standards, or both. Additionally, Ana da Silva, a master's student at the University of Sao Paulo School of Medicine, says that unsafe abortions are more likely to occur in places where access to abortion is restricted. For example, she explains that even though developing countries typically have less access to abortions, that every country that makes abortion be illegal, they have a higher risk of unsafe abortion conditions to occur for these women. This could mean that women have an abortion by inflicting pain on themselves or by having an individual who isn't trained in the medical field perform the procedure. Furthermore, in an academic journal from the Balkan Medical Journal by Emil Ulisi, a survey was conducted that asked medical students from Marmara University about abortions. She asked them a series of questions where they could only respond with agree, neutral, or disagree. One question specifically asked the students if they thought that abortion bans would increase the amount of unhealthy abortions. Of the 328 respondents, approximately 86.1% said that they agree. Therefore, as you can see, by banning the right to an abortion, it will only increase the amount of unsafe abortions. Lastly, an abortion ban will cause an increase in maternal mortality rate. According to De Silva, when abortions are illegal, it causes the risk of maternal mortality to increase, as well as health complications. For example, in a study that was constructed by De Silva, a 16-year-old woman from Brazil was pregnant and didn't have any access to an abortion. She decided to have a self-induced abortion by inserting a foreign object into her vagina. This caused her to go into septic shock and have an emergency surgery in order to remove that foreign object. Therefore, this woman was willing to put herself in danger to have an abortion just so that she didn't have a child. In addition, according to a journal article from the European Journal of Contraception and Reproductive Health Care by Nina Berzulli, she says that when an unwanted pregnancy takes place, women will oftentimes go through extreme measures in order to terminate that pregnancy. In other words, women will put their own lives at risk in order to get rid of that pregnancy. According to a case report by Berzulli, a 34-year-old woman found out that she was pregnant unintentionally. She didn't have access to an abortion, therefore, she decided to self-administer drugs in order to terminate her pregnancy. A few days later, she reported that she felt sick, and then she noticed some vaginal bleeding. When she went to the hospital, the doctors rushed her to the operating room for emergency surgery because she was in septic shock. About 15 hours later, the woman died due to massive amounts of hemorrhaging and cardiac arrest. These cases just show you how women are willing to put their own lives and bodies in danger in order to not have a child. Now that I've addressed the problem of banning abortion rights for women, let's look at how we can protect these women and their right to make decisions about their body. Citizens can do a few things that would help influence the Wisconsin State Legislature to consider passing a bill that protects women's right to abortion. For starters, citizens could contact the Wisconsin State Legislature that are in office now. According to Robert Geyer, who has a license to practice law, he says that citizens can lobby or influence state legislatures by writing a letter, calling the office, or sending an email. He says that these are the most influential ways that citizens could influence state legislatures to pass a desired bill. Also, Geyer says that if you want to persuade a state legislature, you have to address the importance of the issue as well as how a bill would affect everyone. Therefore, by contacting the Wisconsin State Legislature in any of these three ways, it can help you potentially influence the legislatures enough to pass a bill that protects these women's right to abortion in case of an abortion ban that occurs. Next, citizens could help fund organizations like Planned Parenthood in order to ensure that women get the necessary information that they need. Planned Parenthood organizations help women in numerous ways. For one, they help women access contraceptives. According to an obstetric nurse from Monadnock Community Hospital, Samantha Burstein says that nonprofit organizations like Planned Parenthood provides contraceptives like birth control and condoms, which ultimately help women prevent unwanted pregnancies, therefore lowering the abortion rate. Also, Planned Parenthood organizations allow women to get more information about sexual health care. For instance, according to a Christian Medical Fellowship, Philippa Taylor says that it is critical for women to talk about their options with a medical professional. Taylor expresses in her article that organizations like Planned Parenthood provide women with counselors. then help them know more about their options in regard to their pregnancy. Also, a counselor can give the woman advice as well as more information regarding abortions, birth control, and family planning. All in all, donating to these types of organizations will help keep them open so that women can continue to receive all of the necessary health information that they need. In closing, women's right to abortion needs protection. Right now, if a ban were to go into effect, numerous women would experience a negative impact on their mental health, have an increased risk of abortion that occur under unsafe conditions, and have a greater chance of more maternal mortality. Therefore, a bill should be passed by the Wisconsin State Legislature that protects women's right to abortion in order to provide women with the safety that they need. Above all, if we don't act upon the abortion problem, women and their body will continue to suffer harmful circumstances.